Hello everyone, and welcome to another in my Duelyst video series produced in partnership with Counterplay Games. Today I want to continue my exploration of new decks in Denizens of Shimzar. First of all, I want to say that these are decks I'm exploring, not necessarily finished versions, tuned versions of decks, but decks that I've had some success with and want to share with you all. So let's jump right in. Here we have what I jokingly called my obelisk desk with my pronunciation issues that I was having during my review. But this is just a Vetruvian Obelisk based deck. The idea is to take advantage of the powerful new obelisk cards and give myself a lot of tools to play a pretty powerful mid-range and controlling game. Now, I actually don't have necessarily all of the cards that I might want to include in this deck. For instance, I only have a single copy of Aymara Healer, and that's a card that I would certainly play additional copies of if I did have them, likely in place of Emerald Rejuvenator, but I've been facing quite a few aggressive decks and have found Rejuvenator to be quite strong. But the really key cards in this deck, in terms of the Obelisk strategy, Nimbus is really the centerpiece of one of the things that makes this deck powerful. This is a card that I called a sleeper in my review, and people quickly told me that, no, this is a card that's showing up everywhere already. Though, to be fair, my review was recorded well before the Nimbus was a popular card on the ladder. Regardless, the idea is to create a number of obelisks, whether with Nimbus, the actual obelisk cards, or Allomancer, which has been one of the cards that's kind of underperformed, but I haven't quite replaced it just yet, and leverage those with Whisper of the Sands and other tools like the Dune casters to really get a lot of value out of them, so that I can play a very long game value style game as well as be pretty aggressive because of the damage that the obelisks and the dervishes can output, especially alongside the Whisper of the Sands. You can have some big burst damage combos with Whisper of the Sands late in the game. So anyway, this is the deck we're going to play, and let's go ahead and jump right in.
Vitruvian versus Vitruvian.
Alright, we're playing against another Vitruvian deck, though this is Cyanus Sage, so you can expect our opponent to be heavy on the artifacts. And this is an interesting hand. We have a Wind Slicer, which is quite powerful with our Fireblaze Obelisk. We could potentially open with Wind Slicer into Obelisk off of the initial tile. I'm going to go ahead and replace the Decay, and I think I'll just replace the Allomancer. Like I said, I think my first turn will be these two, though I could actually potentially play the Allomancer alongside another Obelisk the following turn, so maybe I want to go ahead and keep that as well. We'll try this for now, and we'll adjust based on what our opponent plays. We actually replaced into another Decay. Alright, and there is a Pax. Pax is a serious card. This is one of the stronger cards in our deck as well. We'll go ahead and replace this Decay. And there's a Pax of our own. It's actually pretty interesting. We can just have a Pax battle here. Yeah, I think I'm going to do exactly that. I can play my Wind Slicer here and then just play Pax in front of my opponent's minion, and that will give us both a bunch of dervishes right away. So I can actually play my Obelisk rather than my Wind Slicer if I wanted to, and then I get my dervish summoned beginning of next turn as well, and then potentially play the Wind Slicer into the Fireblaze. I think I'm actually going to do that. Get my Obelisk down in a central location, and then also play a Pax for him to run into, and we'll end our turn. So here my opponent's Pax will battle our Pax, battle Pet, and then all kinds of dervishes on the board already. And because they died in our opponent's turn, we're actually going to be the first player to get to actually activate our dervishes, which is a pretty big edge. We get to decide where they go. Obviously, in this particular instance, they're very likely to end up trading. We see our opponent buffing one of them. Okay, go ahead and Bone Swarm. All right. If I really wanted to, I could just go ahead and drop a Nimbus here. My other option, I can play Fireblaze, or I can actually play the Wind Slicer here, Fireblaze down here. Let's go ahead and replace the Allomancer. It's not super impressive. The Dominate Will, that's powerful, but not really what we're looking for right now. So yeah, I think what we're gonna do is play the Wind Slicer here, and we're looking to ensure that our opponent doesn't actually get to use these dervishes. So move down, play Fireblade Obelisk here to keep my opponent from getting access to this, and we're gonna just kill this here. And I'll end my turn. My opponent can kill this obelisk with his dervish. We're a little bit... He can actually just kill it with his Psionic Strike as well, though, so not really all that much we can do there. We have actually 2 copies of Nimbus now, so we have pretty powerful upcoming turns, potentially, as well as a Dominate Will if we go to the late game. Looks like our opponent is just beating on our obelisks for now. Falchius. Ooh, Falchius plus the Bloodborne spell is going to actually clear this, unfortunately. Alright. Down goes the obelisk. Alright, so we can attack this. I want to go ahead and try and protect my obelisk where I can, so move down here. And just double attack here. And play a Nimbus. So our opponent just used Psionic Strike, so it's not going to be super easy to kill the Nimbus here. Could Entropic Decay it, which would be unfortunate. Alright, so take out my Wind Slicer. And because of the positioning of our Nimbus, there's no easy way for this to get to anything valuable. Ooh, a Mirage Master. Wow. Oh, wow. That's fancy. Alright, well, we can't Dominate Will this turn. So, we can play another Nimbus. We can attack here. This can't get to anything useful, unfortunately. I could replace my First Wish and see if I can pick up just an Entropic Decay to use immediately. That doesn't seem worthwhile here, though. I think we want to go ahead and just attack here, play another Nimbus, and probably make a... we'll go ahead and replace this, see what we get. Like Rejuvenate, that's not all that exciting. Alright, we'll attack here, remove this. I actually got the obelisk right there. I guess I want to move down here. Attack my opponent, play another Nimbus, and make a dervish. So this means that my opponent's only place he can attack with Nimbus is into this or my Nimbus. And if these Nimbuses take damage, Whisper of the Sand is quite powerful. And we'll see what's going on exactly here. Just take out the obelisk fairly easily. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Alright, so Inquisitor Corn, okay. Kron, rather. Alright, well these can attack into Kron. I actually don't have lethal here if I just dominate Kron, do I? No. Well, these can attack into Kron and create... Although this could be awkward. I could have no means to actually get to the opposing Nimbus. If we do this. If this creates one right here, it's entirely possible we miss with Dominate because we can't move there. Should be slightly awkward. Let's see where this goes. Alright, that's fine. Just move here. Dominate this. So now we have 3 Nimbuses. I think we'll just have this guy go and attack. We'll replace the Rejuvenator. We're not going to be looking for one of those this game, I can tell. Allomancer, not that exciting either. Ooh, Whisper. If these stay around, Whispers are going to do a lot of damage. Dies, we get another Obelisk. Pandora. That's not going to cut it, I don't think. Ooh, it's Provoke. Okay, well, this can attack here. We'll replace the Allomancer. Dunecaster. It feels like we have to have lethal here somehow. I guess this can attack here. If we don't have lethal, we at least can clear basically everything our opponent has. Alright, this will attack here. And Whisper. Falcius. We get pile damage in here. I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Move these here. I think that Nimbus can just come through for the last attack. There is the explosive power of Whisper of the Sands. Generated so many dervishes that finished our opponent off. And also, I think that game definitely demonstrated just how powerful dominant will can be in these matchups that can be defined by individual large minions like the Nimbus there, and really, really swung the game there. Alright, here we are against Songhai. And this is an interesting hand. We actually have the ability to play Slicer into double Obelisk on turn 1, thanks to the reduction from Slicer. So that's pretty attractive. I'll go ahead and replace the Allomancer. I find myself doing that a lot, by the way. Allomancer, like I mentioned, one of the cards that I'm strongly considering taking out of the deck. Alright. Well, we're just going to keep the rest of this hand. Play Wind Slicer. And we can play, actually take one of these to prevent our opponent from getting it next turn as well. It does leave us in a position where our obelisks are potentially in an awkward position, but I think it's correct for us to block our opponent off. We can actually play one here and then one here and not take the Mana Spring tile, which actually may be even stronger, because it prevents our opponent from getting it and gives us access to it the following turn. I actually like that plan quite a bit. Alright, just gonna go ahead and attack one of our obelisks with the Battle Pet. And now we could potentially even get both of these. Though, look, you know, if our opponent was going to attack this obelisk, we would have the possibility of even taking both Mana Springs. But alright, it's going to be Lantern Fox into Vortex, into Mirror Meld. Alright, got another Zoe. Going to replace one of these Slicers, clearly. They're quite weak at this stage. Scion's First Wish. We can go ahead. I kind of want Falcius. I can actually play not quite my entire hand. I can Falcius into Scion's First Wish, or Falcius with Pax. Falcius plus Scion's First Wish allows me to clear my opponent's entire board right now, which is pretty attractive. It also leaves this Mana Spring tile. So I guess first things first, we're going to go ahead and pump this. There's a Nimbus. Okay, well, that's the long-term plan we need for the future. These two have to kill this guy. And this guy walks up and kills this Joe. And this lets me come down here and punch this guy, and it actually burns his Phoenix Fire, because his hand is full. And we're done. That was a pretty good turn. My opponent does have the 2 random spells from the battle pets. Now it looks like my opponent is kind of fleeing, trying to get away from my obelisks. But my obelisks are pretty well centralized. Alright, Chakra Avatar. Okay. Ooh, Death Strike Seal and the Heartseeker. That's kind of scary. Currently have no way to get to it. We can kill the Chakra Avatar. I don't want to play my Nimbus into the Death Strike Seal, so we're going to go ahead and replace the Dunecaster for now. I believe. The Dunecaster alone can allow this to kill, one of these to kill this, and still give me strong board presence. Maybe actually just Dunecaster, attack here, and then move up and just play a Pax near my opponent, and use my Bloodborne spell. We can get quite close to this. I actually kind of like that and just save the Nimbus. Just play both of these, use our Bloodborne spell, save the Nimbus. Yes. And I want to play the Pax next to this. Getting a bunch of damage in, getting a bunch of minions close to my opponent's Heartseeker, which is currently threatening to kind of gun down everything. But now, not only do I have 5 minions, one of them has the Dying Wish of making 2 dervishes. Alright, there's a Tusk Boar. We get. Alright, and ooh, actually, oh, that may have been kind of bad, because she left that in a position where our opponent, it was surrounded. I didn't think about that implication. Yeah, so because my Sai, or my Pax rather, was surrounded, it didn't have any space to actually get anywhere. That was unfortunate. Well, kind of in a position that we just need to pile damage into our opponent here, huh? Because our Nimbus is not looking like it's going to be effective given the Heartseeker, so I'm actually going to replace the Nimbus. So another Dunecaster. Okay. So we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're nearly lethal. That's one of the things that this deck does, as I mentioned. It can turn the corner quite effectively and just be an aggressive deck. We're putting our opponent 2 and we're at 25. So it's not a bad spot. Not a bad spot at all. It does have a 5/3 deadly striking ranged minion, but currently surrounded at 2 life. So even though we lost our Pax there because it was stuck, I think we might be able to pull this out. Alright, Valky's died. And opponent needs to both either gain life or kill basically everything. Alright. And I have these obelisks as well. Lightbender, okay. Dispel. No, there you go. And that's it. So yeah, I think that game really demonstrates just how aggressive the deck can be. That, it has these powerful control tools that we saw in the last game, like Dominate Will, but the Dunecasters and the obelisks and all those tools can really allow you to put pressure on an opponent who might be looking to do something powerful, like have a deadly strike ranged minion that could otherwise beat your long game plan. So that is it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed my obelisk deck, or whatever. Let me know what you think, any improvements you might make. I definitely know that I'm still in the process of tuning it. Those Allomancers weren't looking too hot, and maybe I have a little bit too many of the low drops, but overall I've been really liking the deck, and I highly suggest you try out something like it, because it's a lot of fun and very powerful. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.